Wir gedacht, dass um diese Zeit alles schon bereitstehen würde für den Start zur Formel 1, dass alles im Grand Prix-Fieber sein würde, aber dem ist nicht so. Der Start wurde verzögert und zwar deshalb, weil es noch selten so viele Defekte gegeben hat wie diesmal beim Warm-up, der zwischen 11:30 und 12 sein sollte, dann aber zwischen 12 und 12:30 war. In den Boxen stehen die Ferraris von Arnoux und von Tambay. Beim einen wird das Getriebe gewechselt, beim anderen der Motor. Prost ist ausgefallen, auch dort wird das Getriebe gewechselt. Verzeihung, der Motor gewechselt. Der Lotus von Elio De Angelis ist nicht fahrbereit. Motorwechsel. Niki Lauda, was ist mit Ihrem Auto los? Wären Sie fahrbereit?
Man muss eins ganz klarstellen, das Reglement sagt, dass zwischen dem Warm-up und dem Rennen müssen 3 Stunden Zeit sein, damit etwaige Defekte behoben werden können. Wenn in den 3 Stunden der Defekt nicht behoben wird, dann hat derjenige ein Pech gehabt und kann nicht fahren. In dem Fall wurde das Warm-up verspätet begonnen, weil in dem Rennen vorher ein Unfall war. Das heißt, es fehlte eine Stunde. Natürlich muss man den Teams die Möglichkeit geben, die 3 Stunden, die im Reglement stehen, für Motor- oder Getriebewechsel zu haben. Deswegen ist der Grund der Verspätung nicht, weil so viel kaputt geworden ist, sondern weil im Rennen vorher jemand die Leitschienen ruiniert hat und die erst aufgebaut werden mussten.
Ja, aber normalerweise sagt man Rennen, Verschiebungen bei höherer Gewalt, aber das kann man doch wirklich nicht als höhere Gewalt bezeichnen.
Ich finde es falsch, dass der Veranstalter unmittelbar vor unserem Warm-up ein Turnwagenrennen abhält und da die Möglichkeit besteht, dass eben Leitschienen kaputt gemacht werden und dann eine Verspätung entsteht. Wenn man kein Rennen vorher gemacht hätte oder eine Stunde freigehalten wäre, dann wäre es einfacher gewesen.
Sie sind fertig?
Ich bin fertig.
Wir können vielleicht die Gelegenheit benutzen, da bleiben ja noch ein paar Minuten. Wie sieht es aus für McLaren? Wie sieht es aus bei Ihnen? Rechnen Sie sich Chancen aus für heute?
Ich bin 18. am Start, was sehr schlecht ist, war aber 10. heute früh, weil unsere Rennreifen sehr gut gehen und ich hoffe, in die ersten 6 zu kommen.
Was macht der Porsche Turbo? Sie haben vor 14 Tagen den Silverstone getestet, wie ich weiß. Wie lief's da?
Der Takt Turbo wird das erste Mal in Sandborn wahrscheinlich fahren, wenn alles so läuft.
Anthony Marsh hat gerade die Pitstops, also die Boxenstopps erwähnt und soweit wir unterrichtet sind, werden alle turbogetriebenen Fahrzeuge einen Boxenstopp einlegen. Dieser Boxenstopp ist eine taktische Maßnahme. Die Tanks wären groß genug, die volle Distanz von 300 Kilometern zu geben, aber man fährt mit halbvollen Tanks, einem leichteren Auto, kann dadurch weichere Reifen benutzen, die in den Kurven höhere Geschwindigkeiten ermöglichen. Es werden also die Turbo-Teams alle an die Boxen gehen. Das sind die BMWs und die Hauptmotoren.
Ist im Moment nicht zu übersehen. Zu viele Interessen spielen da eine Rolle. Hauptsächlich natürlich finanzielle Interessen. So gesehen kann das heute für die Rennstrecke von Hockenheim durchaus ein historischer Grand Prix werden. Die Fahrzeuge stehen alle schon auf ihren Positionen, Startpositionen. Noch sind aber alle Helfer, Mechaniker, Teammanager mit dabei. Teilweise sind noch Abdeckungsteile an den Fahrzeugen abgenommen. Es wird also noch eine ganze Weile dauern, bis der Start vorgenommen werden kann. Und das sind die Sieger von 1983. So, jetzt haben Sie sie kennengelernt, einmal ohne Helm, die Sieger dieser Saison 83. Und hier ist der Stand der Weltmeisterschaft im Augenblick. Sie sehen, Alain Prost führt die Liste an mit 39 Punkten. Er ist auch der einzige Pilot, der mehr als einen Grand Prix bisher gewonnen hat, nämlich 3, auch den letzten in Silverstone in Großbritannien. Nelson Piquet dahinter mit dem Brabham BMW. Die beiden haben natürlich auch heute hier in Hockenheim große Chancen auf den Sieg. Man wird natürlich abwarten müssen, wie sich das auswirkt, dass kurz vor dem Start noch in aller Hektik an den Autos repariert wurde, vor allen Dingen bei Prost und Tambay natürlich. Das wird sich unter Umständen auswirken und wahrscheinlich schon in den ersten Runden zeigen. Die Liste sollte vielleicht auch aufweisen, wer noch gar keine Punkte hat. Das ist De Cesaris beispielsweise, De Angelis und Patrese, alles namhafte Leute, die durchaus in der Lage sind, einen Grand Prix zu gewinnen. Hier die Startaufstellung. In der ersten Reihe die beiden Ferraris von Tambay und Arnoux. So war es auch beim letzten Grand Prix vor 14 Tagen in Silverstone. Tambay hatte dann den besseren Start und ging in Führung. Piquet und De Cesaris. Piquet auf dem Brabham BMW, De Cesaris auf dem Alpha Turbo in der zweiten Reihe. Und dann die beiden Renaults mit Prost und Cheever in der dritten Startreihe. Eigentlich ein bisschen überraschend fast. Man hätte sie weiter vorne erwarten können in der Startaufstellung. Die vierte Reihe, Baldi und Patrese. Baldi mit dem Alpha und Patrese, der Teamkollege von Piquet mit dem Brabham BMW 4-Zylinder. Danach Warwick auf dem Tolman, relativ weit vorne, und Giacomelli, ebenfalls Tolman, De Angelis, Lotus und Rosberg, der Weltmeister auf dem ersten Saugmotorfahrzeug an der 12. Position. Jetzt werden sie langsam ungeduldig werden, wenn sie es noch nicht aus der Presse entnommen haben. Es gibt keinen deutschen Fahrer in diesem Rennen. Manfred Winkelhock konnte sich nicht für das Feld qualifizieren. Es wird ja, wie Sie vielleicht wissen, zweimal trainiert, am Freitag und am Samstag. Jeweils ein Vormittags- und ein Nachmittagstraining. Vormittags, das ist ein reines Einstelltraining. Es werden dann die Fahrzeuge überprüft. Nachmittags wird nach Zeit trainiert. Hier der Trainingsschnellste übrigens, Patrick Tambay auf dem Ferrari. Und Manfred Winkelhock hatte sagenhaftes Pech am Freitag. Vormittag lief noch alles ganz anständig. Nachmittags zwischen 13 und 14 Uhr, wenn es dann darauf ankommt, auf Zeit zu fahren, für die Startaufstellung zu fahren, hatte er einen Defekt nach dem anderen. Zuerst ging ein Lader kaputt, dann ein Getriebeschaden, er hatte Zündaussetzer. Das bei 2 Autos. Die meisten Teams haben ja für ihre Fahrer 2 Autos einsatzbereit. Aber es half alles nichts. Er hatte keine komplette Runde. Und dann am Samstag, wie Sie vielleicht gesehen haben, regnete es und es regnete. Und auf nasser Fahrbahn ist es natürlich nicht möglich, eine anständige Rundenzeit herauszufahren, noch ins Starterfeld hereinzukommen. Deshalb also Manfred Winkelhock nicht dabei. Bei Vortests, die vor 4 Wochen hier stattgefunden haben, war er viertschnellster. Unter normalen Bedingungen wäre es ihm jederzeit gelungen, noch in das Starterfeld hereinzukommen mit seinem ATS, mit dem BMW Turbomotor. René Arnoux sehen Sie hier, wie er sich fertig macht. Das deutet darauf hin, dass es doch noch geraume Zeit dauert, bis gestartet werden kann. Er sitzt noch nicht mal im Auto. Der zweite Ferrari-Pilot. Er war 3-mal hintereinander Trainingsschnellster bis Silverstone. Erstmals also hat ihn sein Teamkollege Patrick Tambay beim Trainingswettbewerb geschlagen. Wir werden sehen, wie es den beiden Ferrari-Piloten geht. Also nicht die besten Voraussetzungen für die beiden Trainingsschnellsten. Arnoux, bei ihm wurde bis unmittelbar vorher am Getriebe gearbeitet. Und Tambay blieb beim Warm-up. Das ist noch ein letzter Test unter Rennbedingungen. Daraus kann man an sich ganz gut schließen, wie die Fahrzeuge ins Rennen gehen werden, weil erstmals mit Rennreifen, also mit härteren Reifen gefahren wird und weil mit vollen Tanks gefahren wird im Training, wenn es nur um die Zeit geht, dann werden ja Qualifier-Reifen gefahren. Das sind sehr weiche Mischungen und da wird nur sehr wenig Treibstoff in die Tanks gefüllt. Was ich sage, zeigt auch dieses Bild. Andrea de Cesaris, der Mann, der eigentlich auf der dritten Startposition stehen sollte, sitzt hier noch unter einem Sonnenschirm, ist noch nicht im Auto. Ich will mal schauen, ob ich von hier über den Monitor hinaus erkennen kann, ob sein Fahrzeug überhaupt schon am Start steht. Jawohl, es scheint so, sein Fahrzeug steht da unten. Das ist es. Aber müsste er langsam, wenn es demnächst die späteste Startzeit soll 10 Minuten vor 3 sein, wurde uns gesagt. Dann spätestens wird auf alle Fälle gestartet. Da müsste er sich langsam ins Cockpit begeben, denn wie üblich bei Grand Prix Starts wird ja noch eine Einführungsrunde gefahren. Nelson Piquet hier, Vierter in der Startaufstellung, einer der herausragenden WM-Favoriten mit Kraft aus Bayern in seinem Brabham. Der einzige Vierzylinder-Turbo im Feld. Er macht sich fertig. Vielleicht einmal ganz schön, dass wir so viel Muße, so viel Zeit haben, die Fahrer bei den Vorbereitungen zum Start zu erleben. Meistens geht man ja unmittelbar vor dem Start bei den Fernsehübertragungen rein und mit sehr viel Sorgfalt sehen wir hier, wird der 6-Punkt-Gurt angelegt. Der Fahrer wird ins Auto hinein gefesselt, sehr eng sitzen diese Gurte. Die feuerabweisenden Handschuhe. Die Anzeige hier ist falsch. Das ist Alain Prost, der hier im Fahrzeug sitzt. Der große Favorit eigentlich seit 3 Jahren, seit er bei Renault fährt, für die Weltmeisterschaft. In diesem Jahr scheint es so, als wäre er ein wenig nervöser als in den vergangenen Jahren. Aber das kommt auch daher, dass die Konkurrenz, dass Ferrari und Brabham etwas stärker geworden ist und Renault nicht mehr so eindeutig dominiert dann, wenn das Fahrzeug durchhält. Das Fahrzeug ist etwas standfester geworden. So zeigen die Ergebnisse dieser Saison. Eddie Cheever, der zweite Renault-Pilot, im ersten Jahr bei Renault dabei, hat René Arnoux abgelöst. Sehr stark fahrend bisher, aber im Moment noch ohne Sieg. Sein Auto war ja in Ordnung, zumindest keine Hektik mehr unmittelbar vor dem Start wie bei Alain Prost. So, der Startplatz wird langsam leerer.
Das muss jeden Moment erfolgen. Dann werden die Motoren gestartet. Und dann werden
beim Zeichen noch 1 Minute. Hier werden schon die ersten Motoren angelassen. Mauro Baldi begibt sich als Letzter in sein Fahrzeug. Der Teamkollege von Andrea de Cesaris bei Alfa Romeo. Na, das scheint ja doch noch halbwegs zu klappen. Die Verspätung scheint nicht so groß zu sein, wie wir ursprünglich angenommen haben. Eine Minute wird noch gezeigt, das heißt aber nicht eine Minute bis zum Start, sondern eine Minute bis zur Einführungsrunde, bis zur Warm-up-Runde. So, die Motoren werden in Gang gesetzt. Große Hektik. Keke Rosberg hier, der Weltmeister. Auf dem 12. Startplatz steht er. Muss angeschoben werden. Jetzt geht das noch. Später, wenn das Rennen mal gestartet ist, darf man das nicht mehr. Deshalb wurde er schon einmal disqualifiziert in dieser Saison, und zwar beim Auftaktrennen in Rio. Das hat ihm den 2. Platz damals gekostet. Rosberg, der im Moment 4. ist, mit 6 Punkten mehr, würde er ganz anders dastehen in Weltmeisterschaftswertung und hätte noch eine theoretische Chance, wenn auch jetzt mit Hockenheim, mit Zeltweg dann und mit Monza sehr schnelle Rennstrecken kommen, auf denen die Turbos ganz deutlich im Vorteil sind. Neben mir sitzt Hans-Joachim Stuck. Er hat natürlich den Vorteil gegenüber uns allen, dass er einmal in so einem Rennwagen drin gesessen hat, nicht nur einmal, und er stellt ihm nun den Kurs vor.
Ja, zunächst einmal ein herzliches Grüß Gott. Wir sehen, wie die Fahrzeuge jetzt aus dem Motodrom hinausfahren, und zwar auf Richtung die erste Schikane zu. Das ist zugleich die schnellste Stelle auf dem Hockenheimring. Im Training wurde dort der schnellste Eddie Cheever auf dem Renault Turbo mit 310 Stundenkilometer Spitze gemessen. Im Vergleich vielleicht dazu mal ein Saugmotor, Spitzengeschwindigkeit lediglich 290 Kilometer. Wir sehen hier die erste Schikane. Sie wird im 2. Gang gefahren, mit einer Geschwindigkeit von etwa 130 Kilometer. Und Sie sehen hier in der Skizze, wenn an der linken Seite ein gelber Punkt aufleuchtet, da befindet sich gerade die Kamera, und das ist die momentane Position des Feldes auf der Streckenskizze. Es geht aus der ersten Schikane hinaus auf die Ostkurve zu. Es wird wieder hinaufgeschaltet bis in den 5. Gang. Die Ostkurve wurde ja auch seit dem letzten Jahr durch eine weitere Schikane entschärft. Wir sehen jetzt hier die Einfahrt. Auch hier wird im 2. Gang gefahren mit einer Geschwindigkeit ungefähr um 100 Kilometer herum. Es ist hier sehr schwierig, einen anderen Konkurrenten auszubremsen. Es ist wirklich ein Nadelöhr auf dieser Strecke. Aus der Schikane hinaus geht es dann auf die 2. Schikane, respektive die 3. Schikane hinzu. Dort wird noch einmal im 5. Gang eine Geschwindigkeit von 290 Kilometer erreicht. Auch eine der besten Stellen zum Ausbremsen, das heißt zum Überholen eines anderen Konkurrenten. Man saugt sich im Windschatten dem Luftloch, das hinter einem Formel-1-Fahrzeug entsteht, an. Das Fahrzeug hat somit keinen Luftwiderstand zu überwinden, und man kann dann vor dem eigentlichen Bremspunkt aus dem Windschatten herausziehen und sich neben den Konkurrenten heransetzen und damit vorbeifahren. Diese 3. Schikane wird im 3. Gang gefahren mit einer Geschwindigkeit von ca. 170 Kilometer. Der Bremspunkt dieser Schikane liegt bei ca. 90 Meter, und man kann sich vorstellen, was für eine große Verzögerung und welche Kräfte auf den Fahrer in diesem Fahrzeug einwirken. Aus der Schikane hinaus geht es dann zu auf das Motodrom. Noch einmal im 5. Gang. Spitzengeschwindigkeit dort ca. 280 Kilometer. Auch dieses Einfahrt in das Motodrom ist eine der Stellen, wo am meisten überholt wird. Eben weil man sich im Windschatten auch ansaugen kann und dann einen Konkurrenten vor der eigentlichen Einfahrt ausbremsen kann. Sie sehen jetzt, wie die Fahrzeuge Schlangenlinien fahren. Das heißt, die Fahrer wärmen ihre Reifen auf. Die Reifen müssen eine Betriebstemperatur von ca. 80 bis 100 Grad haben, damit sie ihre maximale Haftung haben. Und das muss eben vor dem Start der Fall sein, denn in der ersten Kurve geht es ja oft schon um die Wurst. Jetzt hier im Motodrom geht es auf die Sachskurve zu. Im 2. Gang eine Geschwindigkeit von ca. 145 Kilometern. Aus der Sachskurve heraus wird dann wieder in den 3. Gang geschaltet. Man bleibt in diesem Gang durch das ganze Motodrom durch. Geschwindigkeitsbereich zwischen 150 und 170 Kilometer. Und dann geht es wieder auf die Start- und Ziellinie, wo man auch eine Geschwindigkeit von 240 Kilometer mit 4. und 5. Gang erreicht.
Well, here they come out of the stadium section, which makes Hockenheim unique. Something like 100,000 Germans here And when those serried ranks in the concrete stand see a car which is German, a German driver or a German BMW engine, I promise you they go berserk. Well, I doubt that they'll see it in the first race, in the first lap leading, because there on the left you see car number 27, the evocative Gilles Villeneuve number, driven by Patrick Tambay, who is third in the World Championship and last year's winner. On the right, car number 28 is that of René Arnoux in second position on the grid. Then there's André de Cesaris, and the top non-turbocharged car, as ever, is that of Keke Rosberg, the world champion, in 12th position. This race, 45 laps, 145 miles. Will the turbos last, all of them? Go it is, and away goes Patrick Tambay. Arnoux behind him and closing up. De Cesaris in the third position, and Nelson Piquet in fourth, as they go round the first right-hander and accelerating up towards the first, third and then second gear chicane. They go round this right-hander here, and then they're accelerating up the first of the long curves straight through the pine forest, and you can see that the two Ferraris are absolutely together.
Yes, the real fun of the race is right at the back of the field. Terrific traffic jam at the back. But Ferrari's got away to a good start. One of the Tolmans having a bit of trouble getting his engine running away from the start. Bit of a slow start there. I couldn't spot which one. I think it was Giacometti. They're all safely through. Well, they sorted it out. But it looked pretty fraught at the back of the field there with all the Cosworth cars fighting for position.
Tambay leads, Arnoux second, De Cesaris third, Piquet third, fourth, and Alain Prost in fifth position. So they are in grid order as they come down to the third chicane, the Bremse curve at Zwei, the second of the two chicanes on the long leg. And there is Prost coming up to try and take De Cesaris, who will have nothing of it. And now they are through that second chicane. Now there's the drag down, the very fast 165 miles an hour drag in fourth and then fifth gear, down to the Sachs curve, the right-hander, which leads into the stadium section, and it's Tambay leading, last year's winner, and the man who is in third position in the World Championship, ahead of the spaceman man who is fifth in the championship, his teammate, René Arnoux. They go round the Sachs curve now, then to the Elf curve, and it's Nelson Piquet is coming up well in third position. In fourth position is De Cesaris.
Yes, interesting tyre situation this race. I expect Nelson Piquet to go very well. He's running on Michelin tyres, and it would seem that in race trim, the Michelin team have a better tyre than the Goodyear runners.
Roberto Guerrero off the unfortunate Colombian who has such appalling luck in his Theodore on lap 2, out of the race already. Poor Roberto, he's hardly finished a race this year.
Yeah, so up front will be an interesting battle for the tyres. Ferrari, of course, are on Goodyear rubber, but there's Nelson Piquet. He's a Michelin runner. The Renaults, of course, are on Michelin, and so are the Alphas. And there is Prost getting it on the grass, having a go round the outside of De Cesaris, but De Cesaris is a pretty tough man to pass, and he's in, shall we say, at least a fairly charged up mood. Sorry, it was Giva trying to get round him. Fairly charged up mood this weekend. He's probably in no mood to fool with anybody and all his various dramas. Of course, the other problem for him is he's got to go well in the race, because in order to pay his various accumulated fines for the weekend, he needs to win just to break even this weekend.
Lap 2, and Arnoux leads. He is ahead of Patrick Tambay, and banging wheels, a furious Eddie Cheever forces his way past De Cesaris. And so now they're coming down to the stadium section to complete their second lap. Arnoux, Tambay, Piquet, and then Prost.
Yes, I didn't like that little push there by Eddie Cheever into De Cesaris. He's obviously very angry with the way that De Cesaris chopped him out of the chicane around the back of the circuit, but that wasn't a good thing. If you bang wheels in these cars, anything can happen, and he was risking his own safety as much as De Cesaris is when he was already through, so that was a bit of temper being displayed by Eddie Cheever, which is not a clever thing to do.
Well, and who that is, your guess is as good as mine until we get a closer look. But on lap 3 now, René Arnoux, driving car 28, the Ferrari, is ahead of his teammate Patrick Torbay. Arnoux, who is well known for being a qualifying lap fastest time man, very often, 18 times in his career, has been first on the grid. I'm sorry, I'm trying desperately to identify that car, but can't. So it's Arnoux now on lap 3. Look at the gap between himself and Torbay. And Torbay has now got Nelson Piquet in third place in his wheel track. Look for the yellow Renault of Alain Prost. There it goes fourth. Eddie Cheever is fifth. De Cesaris is in sixth place. Patrese is seventh. Mauro Baldi is eighth. So it's all turbos in the top 8 places.
Yes, and right now Piquet looks the man to watch on the circuit. He's, I would say he's the quickest man on the circuit at the moment. He's harrowing Torbay in the Ferrari running second, and Prost is going well, but not as well as Piquet. I'm looking really to those two to get by Ferrari, but if Piquet can show some sort of form, then he may well be able to drive away, but he's working hard to get past Torbay, but it's not easy. Ferrari's got an awful lot of power.
Yes, and now Patrese is closing up on De Cesaris. There they go. Behind Patrese is Mauro Baldi. There is Derek Warwick leading this bunch in the Tolman as the leaders come into the stadium section again on their way to complete their third lap. And as James says, Nelson Piquet is the danger man for Patrick Torbay, who is in second place. And there's an enormous amount of pressure on Piquet and Patrese now, because they're powered by German BMW engines. There is the leader on lap 4. René Arnoux leads in the Ferrari as he goes into the next lap, followed by Patrick Torbay. There is Nelson Piquet in third position, and Alain Prost is closing up on Piquet, followed by the other Renault and the Alfa Romeo Baldi.
Yes, Nelson Piquet has in fact said that he can't do anything about the Ferraris on the straight. They've got too much power, and you can see an acceleration now, or rather later at the chicane at the Oscar, which they're just going up to, the way that Piquet goes in right on Torbay's tail, and then Torbay pulls a whole 10 or 15 lengths on him on acceleration. So Ferrari have got this considerable power advantage, and this means that Piquet is going to need to force a mistake in order to get past Torbay. Either that, Torbay is not given to making silly mistakes when under pressure. He's very experienced, drives very steadily in that situation, knowing that that's all Piquet needs. And in the infield, where Piquet is considerably quicker, it's very difficult for him to get past. It's the only way, without a mistake, is to do a real kamikaze, shut your eyes and pray effort. And again, that's not really Piquet's style. So Nelson has got a considerable problem, and not the least of which is that one that we're looking at right now, which is Alain Prost in his mirrors, because he wants to get past those Ferraris and use them as a buffer and get away.
Well, there is Patrick Torbay in second position. Now, while we watch Piquet and now Prost, who's in fourth position behind them, it's Eddie Cheever fifth, Cesar is sixth, Riccardo Patrese seventh, Mauro Baldi is eighth, Derek Warwick is in ninth position, having a terrific scrap with Stefan Johansson in the Spirit Honda, who is in 10th position. Elio De Angelis, in spite of his warm-up problems, is in 11th place, and you just saw Kenny Rosberg going through in 12th position. We are on lap 5 out of 45, and that was John Watson as the leaders come down to the first chicane. René Arnoux, and the gap between Arnoux, the leader, and Torbay in second place is 1.34 seconds. You can see the gap between Torbay. There he is, the Frenchman who is in third place in the World Championship, and who, as I said before, won this German Grand Prix last year after the dreadful crash in which his teammate then, Didier Pironi, was involved. So there is Piquet in third position. He's got 640 race horsepower, has Piquet, and that is the Brazilian. Now look and see where Alain Prost is in fourth position. There he goes. So the first four cars are virtually together, chased by Eddie Cheever and De Cesaris.
Ein klein bisschen Abstand schon zwischen Prost und Cheever. Dann hier der Alpha von De Cesaris. Und dahinter Riccardo Patrese, Italiener im Brabham-Team. Einfahrt ins Motodrom. Wenn die Fahrzeuge die Ziellinie überqueren, dann sind 5 Runden zurückgelegt. Gleichmäßigen Abständen passieren die Fahrzeuge die Ziellinie. Arnoux, Tombe, Piquet, Prost, Cheever, Cesaris, Patrese und Baldi, dann Warwick und mit der 11 Elio De Angelis auf dem Lotus. Das hat in der Zwischenzeit Stefan Johansson, den Schweden, überholt und ist 10. Das ist der Tyrrell von Michele Alboreto. Nigel Mansell sehen wir hier, der in der Zwischenzeit auch ausgeschieden ist. Offensichtlich war das sein Fahrzeug, das wir vorhin von hinten gesehen haben und nicht haben erkennen können. Nigel Mansell, der Lotus-Pilot, Teamkollege von Elio De Angelis. Arnoux, Tombe.
Tombe second, Piquet is in third place, and already then Guerrero, Alboreto, Mansell, and that fourth man that we have still not identified are out of the German Grand Prix. 26 started, 24 are left in the running. The last of them at the present moment is Danny Sullivan in the second of the Benetton Tyrrells, and there are the first 3 in the stadium section, and René Arnoux is just coming through to complete his 6th lap out of 45. This Frenchman who drove for the Renault team until this year, won in Canada this year, then Piquet in 3rd position. That is Prost, who is in 4th place. And I'll give you the gap between René Arnoux, who is the race leader, and Alain Prost, who is in 4th position, and it is 5.85 seconds. There is Prost. Cheever there is in 5th position. There are De Cesaris and Patrese, 6th and 7th. And now we wait for this battle for 9th position, which is held by Derek Warwick, Mauro Baldi, and Elio De Angelis. The third of those cars is Elio De Angelis. And as you see, the fastest lap so far put up by René Arnoux, leading the race on lap 7, and it's settling down a bit. So, 2 Italian C6 turbocharged Ferraris in the lead, and behind them, the 1.5-litre Brabham of Piquet.
And then further down the race, we've got the Ford engine, Ford Cosworth engine battle, and that's getting quite exciting actually, because the 2 Williamses of Rosberg and Lafitte are running in line astern and in formation, and right behind them, having come through the field a little bit, are the McLarens of Lauda and Watson, who went considerably better than in race trim this morning in the pre-race warm-up. And that should be quite an interesting battle, and quite an important one for pride for McLaren to beat Williams, the 2 leading non-turbocharged teams, although that won't be very long for McLaren now before they get their tag Porsche-engined vehicle into race trim, and that will be pretty exciting when we see that. In the meantime, Piquet seems to have settled from his early charge. He's now, rather than climbing all over the Ferraris, if anything, he's working hard just to cling on to them. And it may be that Ferrari and some of the other Goodyear runners have elected for a softer compound than they thought they could run this morning on their race tyre. Softer rubber, as we know, we've talked about it before, gives more grip, but at the same time runs hotter. And once the tyre overheats, then of course it gives less grip and is no good. But they may have gambled, because they weren't as quick on their tyres this morning that they planned to race as the Michelin runners.
Lap 8, and I think Elio De Angelis' Renault engine has just flown, and this is highly significant, because there you see Alain Prost and Eddie Cheever, who are in 4th and 5th previous places, which I would not have expected them to be as far down the race as this, because they've got ahead of them the two Ferraris and the Brabham. Now, Nigel Mansell is already out of the race. I think Elio De Angelis, as I say, has blown it, and they are both Renault-powered cars. Alain Prost, that we're looking at, had his engine changed after the warm-up, and Eddie Cheever wasn't at all happy either. So all four Renault-powered cars have already had trouble of some kind or other today here at Hockenheim. I don't know whether it's the course or the weather. The course is very flat and fast, of course, but not as quick as Silverstone is. The weather is warm and a bit muggy, but not particularly demanding. Not wet like yesterday or boiling like the day before. But anyway, I think that it's going to be unlikely, and I'm sticking my neck out this early in the race, that both the remaining Renault-powered cars, the Renaults of Prost, who is fourth, and Cheever, who's fifth, will finish, in which case the World Championship situation will be very interesting indeed, because Alain Prost in the Renault-powered Renault is only 6 points ahead of Nelson Piquet, and there is the Brazilian, who is in third place in the championship, and there is Alboreto walking in, Michele Alboreto walking in, and now on lap 9, out of 45, René Arnoux is 2.3 seconds ahead of Patrick Tambay, and then Nelson Piquet is in third position, Prost is fourth, Cheever is, Chedris is sixth, Patrese seventh, Warwick is still in eighth position, De Angelis was ninth, but I think Baldi will have moved up there now, in which case Stefan Johansson, De Angelis is definitely out. De Angelis is out, so the unfortunate John Player Special Team Lotus people will be packing up their cars to go home already this early in the race. Indeed, Elio De Angelis is coming into the pits in front of me as I talk to you now, and stops and is immediately attacked by his teammates to change wheels.
Yes, and now we can have a look at that Ford battle. There's Rosberg trying to retake Niki Lauda, who's just got him. So the McLarens seem to be establishing themselves over the Williamses. And Watson is now climbing over the back of Rosberg's car, and that, of course, is the beat after that bunch of four that we see. Here they come. Lauda, yes, getting control of this battle, and Watson certainly well poised to have a crack at Nicky Rosberg, if not now, maybe after the next chicane before they come into the stadium. So that's a good little battle going on down the field, but I do feel that the McLaren are going to win it, as much, if no other reason, on a bit of a tire advantage here, they being on Michelin's, and Rosberg's really giving it a go, using every inch of the road and some of the grass on earth as well. Elio De Angelis in the pit, sitting there, the car's undressed, looks pretty terminal. They may try and get him out again, but he won't be in contention.
Bob Dance on the right, the famous Team Lotus chief mechanic. There is Tim Densham in the yellow shirt and the earphones, and a very unhappy Elio De Angelis, who over-excitedly assaulted one of the motor sport journalists here today because he didn't take too kindly to what had been said about him in the latest issue. So De Angelis, like his countryman De Cesaris, started off this race in a state of emotional lava, as it were, and this is obviously doing nothing to help it. And as we look at Elio De Angelis, clearly effectively out of the German Grand Prix, as is his Renault-powered teammate Nigel Mansell, who we saw running in. We know that Guerrero is out, Alboreto is out, Mansell is out, De Angelis is out, and there are the two Renaults of fourth place man Alain Prost, his teammate fifth place man Eddie Cheever in the red helmet, and they are respectively in fourth and fifth places on lap 10, which is getting on for 1/4 distance. And we're expecting the refueling stop. That was Piquet, and there's Patrese, who has now got ahead of De Cesaris. We didn't see it happen, but you can see that it has happened. So the race order now on lap 10 is Arnoux leading, Tambay second, Piquet third, Prost that you're looking at fourth, Cheever, there he is in fifth position,
Zwischenzeit Zweiter. Keine Information darüber, wo Tambay abgeblieben ist. Das war Arnoux, das Fahrzeug, das jetzt verschwindet. Das ist Nelson Piquet, der in der Zwischenzeit auf den zweiten Rang vorgerückt ist. Und da sehen Sie ihn. Tambay. In Imola war er Sieger. Hier Schwierigkeiten mit seinem Fahrzeug. Gibt Zeichen an die nachfolgenden Autos. Er ist auf dem Weg zurück in die Boxen. Aus also für Tambay in der 10. Runde.
Ja, das ist speziell für ihn sehr schade. Er hatte ja noch mit theoretische Chancen in die Weltmeisterschaft einzugreifen. Der Punktverlust, der sich heute hier natürlich einhandelt, wird er sicher sehr stark zu spüren bekommen.
Vorne ist Teamkollege. So kann man auf alle Fälle sagen, wenn es auch ein starker Konkurrent ist. Vorne ist Teamkollege Arnoux und vorne ist weiter der schärfste Konkurrent Piquet mit dem Brabham BMW und Prost mit dem Renault. Die Zeit wird genommen für den Boxenstopp.
Man hat prophylaktisch einmal nachgetankt, man hat auch Reifen gewechselt. Aber jetzt sieht man eine Diskussion mit den Technikern und es scheint sich auch da offensichtlich um einen Schaden am Motor oder am Turboladersystem zu handeln. Es werden jetzt eifrig die Seitenteile abgeschraubt und man hofft sicher bei Ferrari Tambay noch einmal ins Rennen schicken zu können.
The blue shirt, the head man of Ferrari next to Mr. 2, Enzo Ferrari himself, is finishing his conversation with Tambay. There's the side pod cover off the left-hand side pod of the Ferrari, and a patient Patrick Tambay sitting there. Now, I made some comments earlier on about the World Championship, and it really does look as though we're going to get some quite significant changes, because the leaders, first, second and third, in the championship at the British Grand Prix finished first, second and third. And now Patrick Tambay there, who is in third position in the championship, is well out of the race. Mauro Forgeri claps his hands excitedly, standing in front of the Ferrari to make it quite clear to Tambay that there's no question of him leaving the pit. And this is a very, very significant indeed pit stop on lap 11, the end of that Patrick Tambay came into the pits. And as we wait to see whether the Ferrari, the 1.5-litre V6 turbocharged car, is going to leave and rejoin the race, there it does so. Well, he's lost at least a lap, has Patrick Tambay, and René Arnoux now, his teammate, has got all the hopes of Italy and Ferrari resting on his French shoulders. In the lead now from Nelson Piquet, the ex-world champion Brazilian in the Brabham BMW. There is the race leader, René Arnoux, lap 13 out of 45. The gap between himself and Nelson Piquet is 6.7 seconds.
Well, that's Arnoux lapping Patrick Tambay, who I would think just by taking the side pod off, they're probably working on the fuel system on his car, but it sounded very poppy and bangy as he went out of the pits. Judging by the passengers crawling along, I would say they'd failed to fix that problem. In fact, he's doing so slowly, he hasn't even appeared yet. Maybe it's expired on the circuit. Here he comes. But meanwhile, John Watson is still providing the filling for I've just noticed over the far side, the Spirit Honda appears to have expired, but Stefan Johansson picked up a smoke and he's parking the car, so that was quite a promising race for the Spirit Honda. There he is, but not for the result they want. So Watson's providing us the filling for a Williams sandwich. He's stuck between them, can't get past Rosberg at the moment, and meanwhile Lauda has pulled quite a distance on Rosberg. He's 4 seconds clear of him already. Up front, Arnoux is in fact pulling away still a little bit from Nelson Piquet, so Piquet is failing to keep up with René Arnoux, and Piquet in his turn is pulling away slightly from Alain Prost. So the three leaders seem to have established positions and be consolidating them relative to each other as they go along. So we've got a little bit of possession up front at the moment. Let's hope that if that continues, the pit stops will bring them back closer together, or maybe a bit of rain or something, some other ingredients to lighten things up a bit.
And we're looking at the race leader, René Arnoux, who now leads Nelson Piquet by 8.5 seconds. And then 5 seconds behind Piquet is Alain Prost in the Renault, and you'll see him in a moment because that is Nelson Piquet. And in fourth position is Eddie Cheever in the second of the Renaults. Riccardo Patrese fifth. The Chaser is in sixth position. Derek Warwick in the Tolman is seventh. Mauro Baldi is eighth. Niki Lauda in ninth position is the leading non-turbocharged car, just ahead of Keke Rosberg 10th and John Watson 11th, and Jacques Lafitte in 12th position. And out of the race, as you see, Eddie Cheever there, have gone the turbocharged cars of Stefan Johansson. Patrick Tambay has rejoined the race very slowly indeed. De Angelis is out, Mansell is out, Alboreto is out, and Roberto Guerrero in the Theodore is out. And into the pits again comes Patrick Tambay, and I'm sure this time it will be to retire. Indeed it is. Lap 14, Patrick Tambay, having led the race and then been in second position for all the remaining laps, has come into the pits to have his car looked at, to rejoin the race very slowly, has now retired from the German Grand Prix, and that is the man who is third in the World Championship. And there is René Arnoux on lap 14, Tambay's teammate, who is in fifth position in the World Championship, has won a Grand Prix, and he's closing up on Raoul Vassell. And if you can look at Vassell closely, you can see that he's wearing a very heavy neck brace. Well, I don't think you're going to see it because Arnoux gone past him very quickly indeed. And Vassell crashed very heavily indeed at the Sachs curve in practice and almost totally dislocated his neck, but is well enough, obviously, to have taken part in this race, although he's feeling very dodgy indeed, and his head is supported by the most massive neck brace I have ever seen in my life. And there is Elio De Angelis, who has been put back into the race, but is effectively out of the running. As you see Vassell go through one of the three chicanes here, and you can tell from the lumpy way he's taking the corner that his coordination doesn't seem to be all that it might be. Not altogether surprising. Lap 15 then, which is 1/3 of the way through the race, with the refueling stops coming up very shortly. We are expecting, if the information that we were given was correct and not sandbagging, for Eddie Cheever to be coming in on lap 20 to make the first refueling stop. There, René Arnoux, number 28, we expect to come in on lap 23, and in second place behind Arnoux, Nelson Piquet. There's the gap between the second, third and fourth, because that is Nelson Piquet in the 640 horsepower Brabham with the 1.5 litre straight 4 turbocharged BMW engine, and Patrick Tambay now being interviewed by the world's press, and I suspect one of the local television stations. There's Tambay shrugging his shoulders.
Problems controlling. René tried to, he wanted to do something else in the race, another tempo. And at that stage, I was just controlling Piquet without any problem, actually pulling away from him. And suddenly, the engine stopped. And that's motor racing, but it's a pretty disappointing moment.
There is Elio De Angelis, whose engine has just given the most enormous stuttering bang, but is clearly still running, so presumably it's turbocharger trouble.
Okay, thank you very much, and sorry.
Out of the picture and the race goes Frenchman Patrick Tambay, and here is the battle between John Watson and Keke Rosberg, and John Watson is coming up through the field and is now in 5th position. That's the man who, and behind Rosberg is Jacques Lafitte. So the two Tag Williams cars are in 11th and 12th places, with John Watson ahead of them, with Niki Lauda ahead of them. John Watson is doing another of his classic charges as we look at world champion Rosberg and his teammate Lafitte. And is Rosberg going to move over and let the Frenchman through? Well, he waves his hand at Lafitte.
Yeah, Rosberg, I'm sure, is in trouble. He was so slow through the centre section then, through the infield section, that John Watson pulled out a huge amount on him, and I don't know why he's not letting the feet through. He must be in trouble because the feet wasn't right behind him like that before. But I would have thought that was a perfect moment in which to wave your teammates through and let him have a crack at the race.
Well, there is John Watson anyway, with Rosberg still holding back Lafitte, or is he? Yes, I think he is. Look at the way Lafitte is climbing all over him. And as we watch this battle for 11th position between the two Tag Williams cars on lap 16, the race order is René Arnoux leading, 10 seconds ahead of Nelson Piquet. In 3rd position it is Prost, in 4th position Cheever, 5th is Patrese, and 6th is Chesrin. 7th is Derek Warwick in the Tolman, 8th is Baldi, 9th is Niki Lauda, and the battle for 11th behind 10th place man John Watson. There is Watson, 10th, and here are the 11th and 12th, Keke Rosberg and Jacques Lafitte, who are followed in the background by Jean-Pierre Jarier in the Ligier car. 14th is the second Tolman, is Bruno Giacomelli ahead of 15th, Thierry Futzen. Then it's Mark Sura, Danny Sullivan, Johnny Cecotto, and those are the ones that are on the same lap, because Raul Marcel and Piercarlo Ginzani, who are 19th and 20th on lap 17, have already been lapped by René Arnoux. So Keke Rosberg and Jacques Lafitte 11th and 12th.
Hier also im Bild Rosberg der 11. und Lafitte der 12. Rosberg ist der Nummer 1. Die Autos sind natürlich schwer zu unterscheiden für Sie, liebe Zuschauer, aber man kann sich etwas an den Helmen orientieren. Rosberg also nicht an die Boxen. Rosberg hat einen blauen Helm zu ihrer Orientierung. Lafitte fährt mit einem ganz dunkelgrünen Helm. Arnoux hat eben Johnny Cecotto auf dem Theodore überrundet. Cecotto, den Doppelweltmeister der Motorräder, und einst in der 350er und in der 750er Klasse, der hier seine erste Weltmeisterschaftssaison in der Formel 1 fährt. Mit ganz anständigem Ergebnis. Immerhin hat er in Long Beach einen 6. Platz herausfahren können bisher. Das ist mehr als Manfred Winkelhock gelungen ist bisher auf dem ATS BMW. Für die Zuschauer, die sich später eingeschaltet haben, darf ich vielleicht noch einmal wiederholen, kein deutscher Fahrer leider in diesem Rennen mit dabei. Manfred Winkelhock konnte sich leider beim Training am Freitag und am Samstag nicht qualifizieren. Technische Probleme am Freitag und Regen am Sonntag haben es verhindert, dass er auf eine vernünftige Zeit kam. Sehr sauber die beiden Renaults auf Platz 3 und 4, Prost vor Cheever. In der Zwischenzeit allerdings 16 und 17 Sekunden hinter dem führenden Ferrari-Pilot René Arnoux.
Ich bin sicher, dass auch Eddie Cheever seinen Teamkollegen Prost nicht angreift, denn für Prost zählt ja jeder WM-Punkt und somit wird sich da intern im Team Renault...
And they're now just over 4 seconds down, and they've got Piquet in their sights, so the race hopped up to that point too, but at the moment René Arnoux looks pretty dominant out in front. He doesn't appear to be in any trouble, although there is a slight question mark over tyres that he's running, and if he's running the hard compound and making them work better than they did earlier in the warm-up, etc.
Yes, there's Arnoux. He's leading Piquet now by only 6.2 seconds. Now that's very significant because the gap has come down dramatically. René Arnoux then, and his engine is misfiring badly as he changes gear there, and Nelson Piquet in second position is closing definitely on René Arnoux. The Brazilian's car going well, and Derek Warwick there is coming into the pit. Now his refueling stop was due on lap 23, but he's much slower than he should be. He would be absolutely racing into the pits if he wasn't in trouble. It looks to me as though Derek Warwick is the Coleman, who was, until he started coming into the pits, in 9th position. 7th position is definitely having problems. He coasts up to the pit there. Now hopefully we will see a close shot of what the Coleman mechanics do.
It looks to me as though the camera that was supposed to be giving us that picture is in trouble,
as Derek Warwick then is out of the race. And here is the race leader, René Arnoux. Now, what is the gap? This is the important thing between René Arnoux and Nelson Piquet. Here, coming towards us, is Danny Sullivan, followed by Johnny Cecotto. There is Nelson Piquet in second place, and the gap is of the order of 12 seconds. So Nelson Piquet has certainly not gained anything significant on the race leader, René Arnoux. We are on lap 19 out of 45, and soon we're going to be seeing the excitement and interest and possible race position changing situation of the refueling pit stops. There, Mark Sura in the arrows, and Sura is in 15th position indeed on lap 19 as Arnoux comes towards us. Watch out for Sullivan and Cecotto, and then Piquet. Piquet is in second position still. Prost is still third. Chiva fourth. Patrese is in 5th position, and Piquet has passed Cecotto. Here is Prost third, and Chiva in 4th position.
Yes, well, Prost is still making ground, along with his teammate right behind him, Eddie Chiva, on Nelson Piquet. The gap is now down to under 4 seconds, but Nelson Piquet is making no real impression on René Arnoux. What it does mean, though, is that Prost is in fact gaining on both the people in front of him, Arnoux and Piquet. So Piquet is still 12 seconds, about approximately adrift from René Arnoux, and as I say, Prost now only 3.5 seconds behind Nelson Piquet. So maybe we'll get a bit of a surge from Alain Prost.
And we are now on lap 20 out of 45, out of the race as we look at Bruno Giacomelli. Have gone Roberto Guerrero, Nigel Mansell, Elio De Angelis, De Angelis, I'm sorry, Nigel Mansell himself, Stefan Johansson, and of course Patrick Thornberg. And now, lap 20 out of 45, number 28, race leader René Arnoux, due to come in to refuel in 3 laps time. He thinks, he told me, he didn't sound too sure just before the race when he was coming in, but he will receive a pit signal, of course. And Jacques Lafitte is now behind, of course, René Arnoux, got ahead of Keke Rosberg, his teammate, and the position on lap 20 then is Arnoux leads, Piquet second, Prost third, Chiva fourth, Patrese 5th, De Cesaris is in 6th position, Baldi 7th, Lauda 8th, Watson 9th, Lafitte 10th, Rosberg 11th, and Charrier is in 12th position. And into the pits comes Alain Prost to refuel as René Arnoux goes into the chicane. The third place man, Alain Prost, is in the pits, has changed his tyres and wheels, and is now about to leave. And as you see, his time was 13.02 seconds.
Well, it was a good stop by the Renault team, but a mistake by Alain Prost. He was having trouble getting the car in gear, but he should have had it in gear already. He's got to keep your foot on the brake, but you should have it in gear. And that's because he's got clutch trouble, and that Weber line, if the clutch isn't disengaging fully, which very often happens with these racing engines, then of course he couldn't keep it in gear while they were changing the wheels. But because that's a fairly elementary mistake to a driver of Prost's level of intellectual intelligence. That's for the not so clever drivers who make that sort of mistake normally. Anyway, they got it away pretty quickly, so that's something for the others to shoot at. They won't be able to make any mistakes and not have Prost gain time on them.
And we have confirmation that Derek Warwick is out of the race with that Achilles heel of the turbocharged cars, a broken turbo, as you see Nelson Piquet, and now Eddie Cheever, of course, who is in third position, 5.3 seconds behind the second place man Nelson Piquet, because Cheever's teammate Prost has been into the pit, so there's a change there. Alain Prost has gone down through the field, and Cheever is in third position.
Yes, the interesting thing is, of course, that Prost didn't come in. Renault had changed their plan about their stop, unless Prost requested to come in. Maybe he felt that the cars he was on were getting a bit tired or something, and he wanted to get on to some fresh ones, because they were planning to call Cheever in earlier, I think, but certainly Prost was scheduled to come in 4 laps later than he actually did. So whether that's a tactical error or whether Prost was having some trouble out there that he felt it was time to stop for, we can only speculate.
Well, ignore that caption. It's the car of Derek Warwick who is in the pits there. And as you see from the smoke pouring up from the left sponson at the back, no, let's just check again. My goodness, it is Bruno Giacomelli's car. So it looks as though both Tolmans are out of the race. I saw Warwick come in and assume that his car we were looking at, but it's Bruno Giacomelli. So both Tolmans are out, apparently, from the look of it, both of them with turbo trouble. And coming towards us now on lap 22 is Piquet, hotly pursued by the new third place man, Eddie Cheever. The race leader, of course, René Arnoux, ahead of both of them. And we're getting to the pit stop situation. Prost is still in the fourth position now. He's only lost 1 place. He's still ahead of Riccardo Patrese, who is in 5th place. In 6th position is De Cesaris. 7th is Faldi. 8th is Lauda, the leading non-turbo car, ahead of his teammate John Watson. In 10th position is Jacques Lafitte. 11th is Rosberg, and 12th is Charrier. And into the pits now comes Keke Rosberg for his refueling stop. And his target is that of Alain Prost, 13 seconds. But even if Keke Rosberg has gone in, stopped and gone straight out again, it wouldn't have made any alteration to his position. Such is the difference between the power of the turbos and the Williams car.
Alain Prost, after the pit stop, is now running down in 6th place, and he in fact lost almost exactly 35 seconds on the road. Remember, stopped for 12 or 15 seconds. He still loses a lot of time decelerating off the circuit, then accelerating away again. And his gross loss, as I say, was 35 seconds. It'll be interesting to see because visually the Williams pit stop there to Keke Rosberg looks a lot more efficient, and we'll see what, in a couple of that time, I'll be able to tell you what Rosberg lost on the road as a result of his stop.
There is Keke Rosberg having made his pit stop. Prost. They're the only 2 who have been in so far. And on lap 23, as we look at Cheever go through the chicane, let's see who the next one's through. It's Keke Rosberg, who is well up there. And the race order is René Arnoux leading, Nelson Piquet there is the leader, and he really is due for a pit stop. He was due to come in on lap 23, and this is the end of lap 23. All eyes here on Arnoux to see whether he peels off the circuit when he comes out of the right-handed no-fell curve, which he is entering now, to enter the pit lane and make a pit stop, and he's doing so into the pit at the end of lap 23, and his memory was right. He is stopping at the end of the 23rd lap. Now, how is race leader René Arnoux pit stop time going to compare with that of Alain Prost, the fastest so far, 13.02. The Ferrari mechanics have drilled themselves beautifully. They were practicing this morning. The petrol hose at the top, the overflow hose at the right, four-wheel change, and out he goes. 13.08 seconds for René Arnoux. That's 0.06 of a second slower than Alain Prost, and it will therefore mean that relatively, when the pit stops have settled down, I'm sure René Arnoux will still be in the lead. In fact, he's almost certainly still in the lead now, because watch for Nelson Piquet. He was 15 seconds behind Arnoux. There is Cheever, and there is Arnoux. And behind Arnoux is Keke Rosberg, of course, has been in for his pit stop. This is where things start to look very confusing, but Cheever is leading at the moment from Arnoux.
I can't get the gap for the moment, but Arnoux has definitely gained quite a bit of ground on Alain Prost, who is his main threat as a result of that pit stop. And so it looks like if René can turn Cheever around fast, Cheever may yet be the main threat to Arnoux' current superiority. Mauro Baldi just leaving the pits after his stop. He was running down towards the tail of the turbocharged brigade.
And the Brabham mechanics, I can tell you, are all ready to receive Nelson Piquet or Riccardo Patrese. I think it's more likely to be Riccardo Patrese, and they may well be getting out early, but we'll soon see. Here is Nelson Piquet, who is still in second position in this part of the race where everything is in a state of flux, with the leaders coming into the pits to refuel. Out again goes Nelson Piquet. He has started another lap, so he's not refueling on this one. Away goes the Brabham BMW. And Cheever, as Piquet goes into the right-hander on his way to the first chicane, into the pits is coming Eddie Cheever. And there he is. Stop. The Renault, in goes the fuel hose, the overflow hose, the pneumatic hammers banging away in front of the nose cone. You can see the board being held up so that Cheever doesn't get over enthusiastic and go out too soon. And he went out in, what was it, 13.56 seconds. Eddie Cheever then, so both the Renaults of Alain Prost, the World Championship leader, and Cheever have stopped.
And Prost has just gone by us. He's just behind Cheever, but he'll probably pass him. He should be coming. He's a shot there. Is that Prost back view? I think it is, yes. So that's Prost following Cheever. You may well catch him up by virtue of him being on hot tyres and got them all warmed up. It takes about a lap after your pit stop to get your tyres up to working temperature and operating properly and get the feel of them again. But of course the car feels quite different when you just change tyres. You have to settle in, because heroics on cold tyres are not recommended. So we'll see if Prost can re-establish the pecking order within the team, and also what he can do about closing that gap on René Arnoux, who so far has had a copybook race. Everything's gone right for him so far.
And you are looking at the race leader on lap 25, Nelson Piquet, the Brazilian ex-world champion, who is in second place in the World Championship but has yet to make his pit stop, whereas the man who is second at the present moment, Eddie Cheever, has pit stopped, and in third position, René Arnoux has pit stopped. In fourth place, Andrea de Cesaris has not pit stopped. In fifth position, Riccardo Patrese, and then Alain Prost. But those positions can change in the twinkling of an eye, with another 20 laps to go in this 45-lap race, as René Arnoux leaves the stadium, accelerates away up to the first chicane. Now, who is behind René Arnoux? There is the Alfa Romeo of de Cesaris. That's Keke Rosberg. Then there is the Ocella of Piercarlo Ghinzani, and in the background you see this enormous crowded grandstand as the Renault of Cheever rounds the right-hander, followed by Prost, who has still to catch and pass his teammate. Lap 26. And John Watson is in 9th position at the present moment as one of the Euro Racing Alfa Romeo cars is pushed in, and it looks like that of Elio De Angel, Barrow Baldi's car, and Baldi was in 8th position. Now, there is Nelson Piquet. Well, lap 28 is Nelson Piquet's scheduled pit stop, and the Brabham mechanics have stood down.
Yeah, Piquet, the only remaining leader not to have stopped yet. Until he's done that, we can't really give you an accurate update on what the position are. But John Watson's coming in to make his scheduled stop. The McLaren's stopping as well. Team leader Nicky Lauda is up to 7th place and looking towards getting in the points. There's Piquet giving it a bit of a slide there. Is he coming in yet? No, he's staying out another lap. So Piquet presses on. Watson and Rosberg doing their scheduled stop. And that's the Beat just leaving the pit. Sorry, the Beat is the Williams team. So get rid of this stop, and then we can give you a more stable update on what's really happened to the race. Piquet, of course, is the current leader, but that's by virtue of the fact that he hasn't stopped yet.
Well, let's first of all put you in the position as far as pit stops. Alain Prost has been in, Keke Rosberg has been in, Arnoux, that's in this bunch that we're looking at now, has been in. There is De Cesaris' car. He's in 3rd position when he came in. Andrea De Cesaris stopping the pits, and away go the cars. Also, Eddie Cheever's been in, John Watson, Keke Rosberg and Jacques Lafitte out. They're all doing pit stops in about 13.5 seconds. Andrea De Cesaris accelerates out of the race, and on lap 27, coming up to this critical lap 28 for Nelson Piquet, who is in the lead. In 2nd place behind him is René Arnoux now. In 3rd position, it is Riccardo Patrese. In 4th place was Andrea De Cesaris before he came in for his pit stop, which means to say that back again to 4th position goes Eddie Cheever, and there is the race leader Nelson Piquet ahead of John Watson, who has just come out very recently from his pit stop. Now, we'll stay with Nelson Piquet, hopefully, because this could be his pit stop or the next lap. He's taking the left-hander on the stadium section, the Sachs curve. He comes up to the Elf and Opel curves, the 2 right-handers which are virtually joined together, and you take in one continuous sweep. And it's certainly going to be on the 28th lap or later, because Nelson Piquet now completes his 27th lap in the lead in the Brabham BMW, the man who is in 2nd place in the World Championship, and I'm just waiting for the 2nd place man, René Arnoux, to see what the gap is. It's 12.3 seconds.
Yes, well, Piquet has no chance of being turned around and getting out on level terms with René Arnoux. Piquet's really giving it rock all. He's driving very hard indeed. Looks as if he could use a new set of tyres. Actually, the car seems to be sliding a fair bit, but Nelson is really sliding it about. He's worth watching through the twisty section when we get back on him again. In the meantime, René Arnoux has gained a great deal over the Renaults purely with the pit stop. He gained a good 10 seconds on the lead that he had over they stopped. And I don't think there was that big a difference in the time spent actually stopped in the pits with the teamwork. Although, of course, we saw Prost have trouble getting his car into gear, lost to him a couple of seconds at least. But to lose 10, I think Arnoux probably came in and out of the pit. So it's quite a twisty entrance to the pit road. And drivers should remember that they're still very much racing when they come through that twisting, and they've got to do it quickly. And I think probably that the Renault drivers weren't quite as quick entering and exiting the pits, and lost time there as well, because we didn't lose that much actually sitting still.
Well, you were looking at Nicky Lauda, who's now in 8th position and going beautifully, but still to make his pit stop. You are now looking on lap 28, and is this the lap for the leader, Nelson Piquet, to stop? He's about 12 or 13 seconds in front of René Arnoux. He does not stop. I am beginning suspiciously I was going to say, well, Nelson Piquet is leading. I was was going to say I was getting suspicious about whether he was going to stop, but I can't believe that he could have that much of a lead if he wasn't going to.
I think that's beyond the possibilities of reality, because you have to bear in mind that this is one of the longest races of the year, and this is one of the highest fuel consumption on the entire season. So I just don't think they'd have the tankage. And Patrese in now. He's just coming up to his pit. You can't see him, but we can. Stop now. There he is. So Brabham's the practice of Patrese, who's come out of third place to make his stop, but he's well down about... Oh, that was a quick one. That was a very quick one. Under 10 seconds. And if Brabham can turn Piquet around that fast, then at least he'll look like consolidating second place anyway, and it will give him a chance, if he can get some good rubber on the car, to have to get out within striking distance of René Arnoux, although Arnoux looks awfully strong and poised at the front at the moment.
Nelson Piquet there, leading the race. That's certainly the fastest pit stop that we've had so far, and augurs well for Nelson Piquet, and augurs well, Riccardo Patrese hopes for himself, because he's yet to finish a race this year. Now look at this, here is race leader Piquet on lap 29, yet to make his stop, and on the circuit, the next man behind him is René Arnoux. Nelson Piquet comes into the pits. René Arnoux will be going past him to take the lead, and is it now lap 29, 1 lap late as we look at one of the McLaren cars, and Lauda overshot his pit and had to come back, and it looks to me as though Nelson Piquet is, yes, Nelson Piquet is going through as Lauda, with a bit of cleaning paper hanging to his front tire, gets rid of it as he accelerates out of the pit, and that will have lost the ex-double world champion Austrian Niki Lauda quite a lot of time, overshooting and having to come past the pit, and it's the first time I can remember that happening since pit stop started at the French Grand Prix last year.
Yes, so that's very bad driving by Niki. That's a real beginner's mistake. It's very costly, and it's something that beginners tend to do because they arrive in too much of a frenzy and overshoot a bit, going a bit too quickly, but that's bad concentration by Niki. That's a straight lapse of concentration, and he really shouldn't have done that.
Yes, I must cautiously say that John Watson was having trouble with his choice of brake pads yesterday. Maybe Niki Lauda had the same thing, to be charitable, but for whatever reason he overshot. And now on lap 30, which is the 2/3 distance in the German Grand Prix out of 45 laps, there is the race leader, Nelson Piquet, who this year is in second place in the World Championship, having won in Brazil, having had 3 second places, and that is Raul Boesel, and I'm sure he's just exhausted. I don't know if there's anything wrong with the car, but Raul Boesel on lap 30 out of the race as Piquet comes into the chicane. Well, I've tried wolf now on 3 occasions on laps 27, 28 and 29, prophesying a pit stop for Nelson Piquet, and I reckon he may well be coming in this time. The Brabham mechanics are all ready. I'm looking across, and into the pit road goes race leader Nelson Piquet. Now, where is René Arnoux? He's coming out round the curve as Nelson Piquet comes into the pit, and soon Nelson Piquet, you'll watch the car, watch for the red car in the background while you just miss it, and now René Arnoux has passed Nelson Piquet, who, as you see, is on target for a very quick pit stop. Well, it's 11.12 according to the digital clock there. Nelson Piquet and René Arnoux was about 10 seconds ahead of Nelson Piquet as the Brazilian blasted out of the pits to start his 31st lap. Now there is Arnoux. He's leading the German Grand Prix again, as he did for so long before the pit stop. Nelson Piquet then is in second place, and we're getting the status quo returned, although Eddie Cheever is still in third position, and Alain Prost has not caught and passed his teammates, and I wonder if the Renault team will give Cheever orders later in the race, should their positions be the same, to ease off and let Prost through, because Prost, of course, is leading the World Championship and needs the points for third position rather than fourth. Now, René Arnoux behind Niki Lauda.
Helsinki schalten, aber bitte, wir bleiben noch ein bisschen hier in Hockenheim dabei zunächst. Für rund 10 Minuten gehen wir noch mal zur Leichtathletik, aber zunächst noch mal bitte eine Runde, dann können wir sehen, ob sich aus den Boxenstops irgendeine wesentliche Veränderung ergibt.
Arnoux eben an Lauda vorbeigegangen. Arnoux, der wieder jetzt Spitzenreiter in diesem Grand Prix ist.
Lauda war der letzte Mann noch in einer Runde mit Arnoux. Lauda liegt im Moment an der 7. Position. Wenn er Glück hat, kommt er noch in die Punkteränge.
Ja, in dem internen Zweikampf zwischen dem Duo Laffite und Rosberg auf Williams hat sich mittlerweile Laffite durchsetzen können. Zwischen ihm und Rosberg haben sich auch noch Sura, Butzen und Jarier eingefädelt. Somit ist also Laffite jetzt 9., Sura 10., Thierry Butzen 11., Jarier 12. und Rosberg auf dem 13. Platz.
Sie sehen hier den Abstand an der Spitze. Arnoux also wieder vorn. Zweiter Piquet und der Abstand etwa 15 Sekunden, so wie es etwa in der 20. Runde war. Im Moment sind 31 von 45 Runden gefahren. Die Reihenfolge an der Spitze also Arnoux, dann Piquet, dann Prost, dann Cheever, De Cesaris und Lauda auf dem 7. Rang.
Third. So it's getting very crucial as far as World Championship points are concerned. And Piquet's trying very hard, clipping the curves on lap 32, 45 lap race, and he's got to close a 15-second gap between himself and René Arnoux if he is to have a chance of winning. He passes Jacques Laffite, who is in 9th position. Now, the gap before was 15.2 seconds. René Arnoux will be coming through shortly to complete his lap, and he goes into his new lap now. Watch for Nelson Piquet, there he is, coming out of the right-handed Opel curve, now entering the start and finish straight to come through and complete his lap, and the gap between race leader Arnoux and second place man Nelson Piquet is 13.99 seconds, call it 14, and he's gained a second.
Yes, that race, Piquet can just about catch Arnoux. He gained visibly that lap, and let's hope he can give him a bit of a chase, because the race has got a bit processional and dull. We need something to liven it up, especially up the front. There's been a bit of battling going on down the field, but nothing really very good. It's when the races get like this, they're a little bit boring here at Hockenheim with the long straights, but they're easy work for the drivers. This is not a hard work circuit for the drivers.
Lap 33, we're watching Nelson Piquet chasing valiantly the race leader René Arnoux. In third position is Cheever, who's still ahead of Prost. Fourth is De Cesaris, fifth is Patrese, sixth is Lauda, seventh is Watson, eighth is Laffite, and ninth is Sura. And De Cesaris has passed Cheever. You haven't seen it, but Andrea De Cesaris has passed Eddie Cheever and therefore moved up. He's really putting on a charge. Now look at this. There you see Piquet coming up behind Watson. This is the second place man coming up behind the 8th place man to lap him. John Watson, car number 7, the McLaren with the DFV 3-litre engine, and as James said, there's only one more race for this engine in the McLaren team before they turn out expectantly in Holland with their tag Porsche designed V6 turbo. Now again I've got the gap between René Arnoux and Nelson Piquet, who's coming up behind John Watson to complete his 33rd lap, and the gap is 11.08 seconds, whereas it was 11.99, and before that 12.02. So Nelson Piquet in the lead on lap 34, about to pass John Watson, is gaining on the race leader René Arnoux at the rate of 1 second a lap. He passes John Watson. There is Arnoux.
I wonder if the Brabham team put a softer set of tyres on Nelson's car to just give him that bit of extra pace, because he seems, if anything, to have speeded up.
And it looks like being a grandstand finish at the German Grand Prix. Arnoux leading, but his lead diminishing. Piquet second. Then, as you saw, Andrea de Cesare is coming up tremendously fast, and Prost is slipping back. Alain Prost has been passed by Riccardo Patrese. Prost was fifth. So now Prost is in danger of not getting any World Championship points. There is Piquet, and Arnoux leads. Piquet second, Chiva third, De Cesare fourth, Patrese fifth, Prost sixth, and that is the position after 33 laps. We are on lap 34. The German Grand Prix, which had settled down and was becoming, as James said, a little bit dull and processional, is certainly waking up in the last 10 or 11 of its 45 laps. Race leader, René Arnoux, one victory this year, driving for Ferrari after Renault last year.
Yeah, René Arnoux, quite apart from the cushion of his knee, though, still has a huge advantage, which he really shouldn't let slip away, even if Nelson Piquet can maintain this differential in pace and can catch him. As we said before, the problem is that the Ferrari is so quick, and now the gap is down to 10.3 seconds. So he's still pulling a second a lap, but he's going to have to pull a bit more than a second a lap to catch him. And then, of course, he's got to pass that immensely powerful Ferrari with its enormous straight line performance. But it's a test of character for René Arnoux. If he gets caught, he's got to keep cool, because any sort of panic would be entirely the wrong tactic and could lead to a mistake, which was what Piquet had been looking for. Anyway, let's not theorize too much about that, but let's cheer Piquet on to get him to catch the Ferrari, so that at least we've got a battle over the closing laps to entertain us.
Well, this is the time when we can start to talk about the World Championship. Piquet here he just may relax a bit. He's certainly on 6 safe World Championship points at the present moment, and that's the amount that he was behind Alain Prost. And Prost is currently in 6th position, which would only give him 1 point, but he's dropping back, although he's lapped Niki Lauda. Niki Lauda, who is in 7th place, has been lapped, and on lap 35, as you look at Arnoux coming into the stadium section in the lead, with a lead in the previous lap of 10 seconds, and I will, of course, keep you in touch on this lap. Piquet second, Chiva third, De Cesare in the Alfa Romeo, up to 4th place. Riccardo Patrese in 5th, because he's passed Prost, and it really is starting to look as though Riccardo Patrese might actually finish a race this year, and if he did, it would be his first. And René Arnoux completes above that, and he's now up behind Pierre Quintani in the Osella car, and I'm waiting now for Nelson Piquet to go across the line. He does so, and he has not gained on that lap on Arnoux, because it was 10.47 seconds. So Arnoux has either got the message, or Piquet has indeed decided that he's going to slow down a bit and make sure he gets 6 points, because Arnoux is only in 5th place in the championship on 19 points, whereas Nelson Piquet, this race began, had scored 33. Very, very interesting World Championship situation. Torbay in 3rd position, out of the race. Alain Prost still in 6th position, only on 1 point. There you are, 10.2 seconds between Arnoux and Piquet, and we are now on lap 36. All the pit stops, of course, have been completed, and some very fine ones too, and particularly that of Riccardo Patrese, which was only 9.8 seconds. And now Piquet from behind, Niki Lauda, but doesn't get past. Well, second gear, thanks to 90 miles an hour, up into third to the right-handed L curve, about 120 round the exit here, still in third gear. Arnaud leading the race in the Ferrari, has already won once this year in Canada. Over the line goes the Frenchman in the Ferrari, and it sounds crisp, clean and powerful to me. Behind him, there, the Brazilian Nelson Piquet, 8.6 seconds. 8 now, this is really something. Is in trouble at the Ost curve. All I know is that he's in some sort of mechanical problem. Andrew de Cesaris, who was in 4th position, but now on lap 38, something is happening between Arnaud and Piquet. His first and second places to close the gap, which has come down by almost 2 seconds in 1 lap, and Nelson Piquet could be on his way to another victory after his first in Brazil this year. There's Danny Sullivan in the Benetton Tyrrell, and Piquet then, who won in Brazil, second in France and Monaco, second in Great Britain, 4th in Belgium and Detroit, and several non-finishes. Now, here is the race leader. Now, look for yourselves and judge the gap between Arnaud on his 38th lap and Nelson Piquet in second position. There's the Brazilian. It's, I think, less than 8.6 seconds. I'll soon tell you when I get my own stopwatch running as they go past me. The Brabham BMW and the German crowd, and there's well over 100,000 of them here, as ever, at the Hockenheim Ring, are soon going to see Arnaud and Piquet very, very close together as they come into the stadium, and then we'll get that famous Hockenheim roar. Arnaud and Piquet in the background for a moment there. Now, right, Arnaud's. Well, I would think visually it's about 6 seconds, but I'll tell you soon. Arnaud goes over the line to start another lap, and his car is definitely going slower, and Piquet has got the gap down to 5.3. Now, if Piquet can keep this up, there is little doubt that the Brazilian world champion of 1981, Nelson Piquet, is Bernie Ecclestone and Gordon Murray designed Brabham BMW. Bernie Ecclestone owns it, Gordon Murray designed it, with the other Brabham BMW engine. There's Gintani touring out of the race, and that is Alain Prost. You can see how slowly he's going. Alain Prost, I think, is out of the race, or going to be shortly. Well, things really are happening, because there's Keke Rosberg coming up to catch him. Now, what's the gap between Piquet in second place and Arnaud, the race leader? We're on lap 39 out of 45 as Johnny Cecotto passes Kinzani's Osella with the V12 engine. And parks his car neatly beside Purcell's Ligier. And there's Arnaud. Now, where is Piquet? There is the Brazilian. And they say on the caption there, 6.3, and that is exactly what I make it. So, we seem to be in agreement. Piquet getting much closer visually, but it's actually further on the circuit than it looks on your television set. But definitely, Piquet is gaining. This is lap 39. It's a 45-lap race, and the gap is down to 5.8 seconds as they entered the stadium. Arnaud, I'll just give you the gap. Arnaud goes across the line now, and Piquet approaches it. There he is in the background, and the gap is 5.8 seconds. James.
I'm still trying to make out if Freddie Arnaud is just relaxing up, pacing himself. He then seems to be able to kick back and respond whenever he wants to, or so it would appear. I thought for a moment then he might have been in a bit of trouble with his car, but there was nothing visual. He hadn't visually slowed down. We couldn't hear a misfire. Trying hard there. You saw it snaking a little bit under braking. And I think probably just winding us up, thinking there's some excitement because he's now holding the gap again. You see it's now still over 5.5 seconds out on the back of the circuit. So it looks like fun and games. Joyce, the Renault pit seems to be preparing for something. I think Prost is obviously in some sort of serious trouble, and they're getting ready to receive him. Eddie Cheever appears to be missing.
My goodness, the Renaults are failing. Prost, as you saw, was going very much slower. Cheever seems to be in some sort of trouble. And it's Prost is misfiring very, very badly across the line. And I think he's stopping out of the race, in which case there will be no World Championship points for Alain Prost. And there, behind Danny Sullivan, goes René Arnoux. Now, is Sullivan going to do the decent thing and move over? Yes, he is. He lets René Arnoux through, sees the distinctive scarlet Ferrari bodywork in his mirrors, tucks in behind him, looks for Nelson Piquet. Well, this is the end of, or will be, the end of lap 40. And as I say, Alain Prost, 6th position, and leading the World Championship, seems to be in trouble. And as James said, it looks as though, after all, René Arnoux has got the race under control. And actually, Nelson Piquet is now going definitely slower. I think he's missed a gear. 6.3 seconds is the gap.
Und ob dann noch beide so viel herausholen können, ob Piquet so viel herausholen kann, um Arnoux einzuholen, dann auch zu überholen, das ist ja auch das Schwierige, das wird natürlich sehr fraglich sein. Es sieht so aus, als ob Arnoux etwas vorsichtiger aus der Schikane herausfährt, denn Piquet nützt die ganze Straßenbreite, fährt sogar leicht auf diese abgeschreckten Kanten hinauf.
Und jetzt hat Piquet auch noch den Nachteil, dass Sullivan auf dem Tyrrell dazwischen liegt und vielleicht kann Arnoux, oder offensichtlich kann Arnoux doch noch reagieren. Der Abstand ist wieder etwas größer geworden.
Ja, wie wir gerade erfahren haben, ist auch Eddie Cheever ausgefallen. Somit haben sich die Probleme im Renault-Team etwas gelöst. Wahrscheinlich hätte ja Eddie Cheever noch seinen Teamkollegen Prost vorbeilassen müssen, denn jeder Punkt ist für Alain Prost sehr wichtig. Prost befindet sich momentan nur auf dem 5. Rang und wenn Piquet den 2. Platz einhalten kann, wird es auch in der Weltmeisterschaft in der Führung sehr, sehr knapp werden.
Arnoux vorn. Piquet ist in der Zwischenzeit ohne Schwierigkeiten an Sullivan vorbei. Wir sind gespannt, ob wir eine neue Information über den Abstand erhalten. In Meter sind das in etwa 300 bis 400 Meter. Der Abstand ist 6,8 Sekunden, also hat sich wieder etwas vergrößert.
Ja, Arnoux hat somit reagiert. Er holt genau das Letzte aus seinem Ferrari heraus und hat mit Sicherheit auch die Leistung gesteigert, was ihm auf der Geraden natürlich...
In the World Championship points and the first non-turbo, the veteran Niki Lauda in the McLaren. 7th is his teammate John Watson, 8th is Jacques Lafitte, 9th is Sura, 10th is Jarier, 11th is Boutsen, and in 12th position is Becky Rosberg. And we are now on lap 42. It is now a question of reliability and consistency. There is Rosberg passing Prost, and that gives you an indication of the trouble that Prost is in, because the Renault has got at least 100, maybe more, much more horsepower advantage over the Ford DFV-powered non-turbo car of Keke Rosberg. And even though Rosberg passed Prost on braking on the approach to the Swifty Stadium section, he's clearly much quicker round the lap than the Frenchman in the Renault. But Prost is pretty safe. He's lapped, or the leaders have lapped Niki Lauda, and Lauda therefore is a long way behind Alain Prost, and I don't think that Alain Prost, the second of these two drivers that we were looking at, because we're now looking at René Arnoux, has any danger of losing his 6th position and 1 point, which could be absolutely vital to his World Championship chances at the end of the season, unless his Renault strikes more trouble than he's in at the moment. René Arnoux then completed another lap and he's on his 43rd. The gap is increasing, it's 7.2 seconds. There is Nelson Piquet, who is in 2nd position, and he is, what, 42 seconds ahead of De Cesaris, who is, 20 seconds ahead of Patrese, who is in 4th position, who is 12 seconds ahead of Prost, who is 5th but dropping back, and Niki Lauda, who is in 6th position, has been lapped. There's Piquet, 2nd, and you can see how hard he's trying, and his car is well and truly on fire now. The turbo has gone in Nelson Piquet's car on lap 43. He's going to lose the 6 points, and he's going to have to stop very quickly and get out of that car fast. So there is Nelson Piquet parking his Brabham. He's spotted the trouble. He'll be out of this car like a jackrabbit, because it's going up in the most gigantic ball of flame soon. And Nelson Piquet sprints away, looking at his backside to make sure he's not on fire, because he can obviously feel the heat. Out comes the Course Fire car, and Nelson Piquet has gone out of the German Grand Prix for the 2nd year in very dramatic circumstances, because last year he had his punch-up with Salazar.
Yes, well, that's terribly bad luck for Nelson. Now, I noticed that marshal who was on the side of the track couldn't get his fire extinguisher working for quite some time, which is all right in that situation, but wouldn't have been so clever if there had been a driver in it. And that is a disgrace, because these things should be serviced. Either that, I don't know whether it was the fault of the implement or whether it was some incompetence by the marshal in operating it, but whatever happened, if somebody had been in there in a crash situation with a fire, that could have been the difference between living and dying. And I was pretty horrified watching that man struggling with his extinguisher and failing to get it going. Very bad news indeed.
We're on lap 44 now, and now the gods are really smiling on Alain Prost, because the only man that was really close to him and left in the race in the World Championship, Nelson Piquet, has gone out under the most dramatic of circumstances. René Arnoux has only got another lap to do at the end of this one to complete and win the German Grand Prix, and here he is, not very far off from starting his last lap. That means to say that with Piquet having gone out, and René Arnoux will soon see his car parked by the side of the circuit and will be able completely to relax. That means to say that Andrea De Cesaris, after his most unfortunate practice period that we told you about earlier on, and the massive fines that he's incurred, is in fact going to have his highest Grand Prix finish of the year. Not only that, but his first points of the year for finishing in 2nd place, and his first finish of the year, because for one reason or another, De Cesaris has either failed to qualify or failed to finish in every race this year, except the German Grand Prix, and he's now on his 44th lap out of 45 as we watch the race winner designate René Arnoux from Magny-Cours coming through to start soon his last lap. And as Arnoux goes into the stadium section on lap 44 out of 45, it is De Cesaris 2nd, Patrese 3rd, Prost 4th, Lauda 5th, Watson up for the points in 6th position after being 23rd on the grid in practice, 7th Lafitte, 8th Sura, 9th Jarier, 10th Boutsen, 11th Rosberg, 12th Johnny Cecotto, and all the others have been lapped at least once. Indeed, Niki Lauda, who is currently in 5th position, has been lapped by the man you are watching with noch ein Runde to go, 1 lap to go. René Arnoux in the Ferrari, who had a lot to prove in this race, because his future in Ferrari was in some doubt, but it doesn't look like it now.
Yes, that's right. Very important race for Arnoux, and it's all worked absolutely perfectly for him. Here he comes into the first of the chicanes for the last time. He's was never really troubled. He just had to work a bit hard in the opening laps to get past his teammate Patrick Talmay, and from then on a few people threatened to give him a hard time, but nobody did. Nelson Piquet came the closest to it, but was never put him under any pressure, and that will help Arnoux's stock a great deal at Ferrari, where it wasn't very high, and the Ferrari camp is under siege from most of the drivers. Nearly every driver in the business would like to have that engine attached to his right foot next year, and Arno will be pleased because no doubt he'd like to stay where he is. Of course, the regulations change a bit next year with a limit on the amount of fuel they can use, and of course this may equal up the engine situation, which will be a very good thing for the sport and a good thing for us spectators. We should maybe get some closer racing, but that remains to be seen. We'll have to wait.
René Arnoux enters the stadium in front of that massive German crowd for the 45th time, on his way almost home to winning his second Grand Prix of the year, to give himself 9 championship points. Now, out of the last right-hander, the checkered flag is readied indeed. Arnoux approaches it, the Ferrari mechanics pour out onto the road, and René Arnoux takes the checkered flag to win for the second time this year a Grand Prix.
Bei Ferrari nach der Enttäuschung über den Ausfall von Patrick Tambay nun also ein Sieg des kleinen Franzosen René Arnoux. Damit hat man wahrscheinlich nicht mehr gerechnet nach der Hektik des Vormittags beim Warm-up, wo ja nicht nur Tambay, sondern auch Arnoux größere Probleme hatte, überhaupt das Rennen zu beginnen. 3 wichtige Teams waren in einer überaus schwierigen Situation, dass sie Motoren wechseln mussten, und deshalb bestanden sie auch auf der laut Reglement vorgeschriebenen Zeit, die ihnen zur Verfügung steht zwischen dem Warm-up und dem Start des Rennens. Glück also für Ferrari, Glück aber auch für Alfa Romeo. Ein zweiter Platz für Andrea De Cesaris, der hier über die Ziellinie geht.
Und er rollt ganz langsam und hat der Motor klingt auch komisch. Vielleicht hat er diesen zweiten Platz noch gerade so retten können.
Das sieht so aus, als wäre er eben gerade noch so rüber gerutscht. Ist egal. Zweiter Platz für Andrea De Cesaris, eine gute Leistung und seine ersten Punkte, die er in dieser Weltmeisterschaftssaison erringt. Ebenso wie für diesen Mann, Riccardo Patrese, eine Genugtuung wird es für ihn sein. Endlich ist er einmal im Ziel. Der Mann, der das Lachen verlernte in der Formel 1. Keine Punkte bisher erreicht und noch nie im Ziel gewesen in 9 Rennen dieses Jahres. Also Patrese ist Dritter. Alain Prost, der Weltmeisterschaftsfavorit, Vierter. Er bekommt dafür 3 Punkte. Das ist natürlich ganz schön, wenn man daran denkt, dass seine direkten Konkurrenten Piquet und Tambay keine Punkte kassiert haben und er bisher bereits 6 Punkte Vorsprung hatte. Die weitere Reihenfolge: 5. wird Niki Lauda. Auch das ist ein Erfolg für ihn und für das McLaren-Team. Vielleicht haben Sie vor dem Rennen das Interview gehört. Er rechnete sich nicht sonderlich viel aus, aber es hat gut geklappt. Mehr ist auf einer solchen Strecke und mit einem Saugmotorfahrzeug wirklich nicht drin. Man muss auf Abwarten fahren. Das hat Lauda getan. 5. Platz also für Lauda und 6. Platz für Watson. Hier ist die Reihenfolge des Großen Preises von Deutschland, des 10. Weltmeisterschaftslaufes dieser Saison für Formel 1 Rennwagen eingeblendet. Also die ersten 6 hier, die Fahrer, die Punkte kassieren. René Arnoux 9, De Cesaris 6, Patrese 4, Prost 3, Lauda 2 und Watson 1 Punkt. 7. wird Lafitte, 8. der Schweizer Marc Surer auf dem Eros. Sein Teamkollege Thierry Boutsen aus Belgien wird 10. Hier haben Sie auch gleich den neuen WM-Stand. Prost hat natürlich die Führung in der Weltmeisterschaft behalten, hat seinen Vorsprung vergrößern können
auf nunmehr 9 Punkte vor Nelson Piquet. Dann Tambay. Arnoux hat sich verbessert auf den 4. Rang. Das Fahrzeug jetzt umringt von Journalisten. Hier die Szene noch einmal von Nelson Piquet. 3 Runden vor Schluss also. Dieser Vorfall, Brand im Brabham BMW, wahrscheinlich verursacht durch den erhöhten Ladedruck in den letzten Runden, durch das Bemühen, an den führenden Arnoux heranzukommen, noch hier zu gewinnen. Piquet aus dem Fahrzeug und achten Sie darauf, wie schnell die Sicherheitsstaffel, die Helfer hier da sind, wie schnell gelöscht wird. Eine gute Leistung der ONS-Sicherheitsstaffel, wie man hier sieht. Piquet im Pech, die ganze Zeit auf der 2. Position gefahren und dann keine Punkte. Hier der Sieger, René Arnoux, wird zur Siegerehrung geführt, umarmt Mauro Forghieri, den Teamchef von Ferrari. Klaus Ludwig wird sich bemühen, noch ein Interview zu führen mit René Arnoux. Hier Klaus Ludwig und René Arnoux, der Sieger. Wir bitten um ein paar Worte des Siegers. Wie ist das Rennen aus seiner Sicht gelaufen?
Congratulations for the winning. How was it outside?
I'm very happy because I have a very good car today for winning, and it's very good. All thing is very good. When I stop to the pits to change my tires, it's also very quick. And I am very happy because it's a second race with the new car, Ferrari, and I win this race. It's very important also for me because I take 9 points for the championship. I'm very, very happy.
Er sagte, dass er sehr, sehr glücklich ist, dass es das 2. Rennen mit dem neuen Ferrari ist, dass er einen sehr schnellen Reifenstopp gemacht hätte und von Anfang an eigentlich sehr glücklich mit dem Auto war und dass er sich jetzt mit den 9 Punkten natürlich für die Weltmeisterschaft noch einiges ausrechnet. Did you have any problem in the race with anything?
No, I have only some vibration with my second set of tires when I stop to the pit to put fuel and to change my tires. But you know, when you are in front of the race and you have some vibration, you are always I don't know his name, but it's not. You wait the last the flag, and but this is no problem.
Also er sagt, er hätte mit den zweiten Satzreifen doch einige Probleme gehabt. Die Reifen hätten vibriert. Es wäre dann nicht so einfach für ihn gewesen zu fahren, daher auch etwas langsamer. Aber es hätte immer gereicht und es wäre halt eben ein komisches Gefühl, mit einem kleinen Problem in einem Auto zu sitzen, Führung zu haben. Und ihm wäre schon etwas, so wie man in Deutschland sagt, die Muffe gegangen. René, last question. What do you think about the World Championship? Do you reckon that you have a chance? Glauben Sie, dass Sie eine Chance haben für die Weltmeisterschaft?
Yes, this race for me, when I start for the race, I have only one thing in my head, to win the race, to take 9 points, because it's very important. Now I win 2 races this year, and I am very good for the championship. I am very, very happy.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay.
Er sagte, dass er doch sehr glücklich ist und dass er jetzt mit den 9 Punkten, dass er nur auf diese 9 Punkte hingearbeitet hätte und dass er jetzt doch noch sich eine große Chance ausrechnet. Vielen, vielen Dank. Thank you very much.
Ja, René Arnoux hat also tatsächlich noch eine Chance auf die Weltmeisterschaft. Es stehen noch 5 Rennen aus. Das nächste wird bereits in 8 Tagen in Zeltweg sein. Dann kommt Zandvoort am 28. August. Dort soll ja auch der Porsche Turbo debütieren im McLaren von Lauda und Watson. Dann gibt es ein Rennen, ein Formel 1 Weltmeisterschaftslauf in Monza, Italien. Brands Hatch, der große Preis der Formel 1 für Europa, ist eingesetzt worden für die beiden ausgefallenen Rennen in Amerika. Und am 15.10. das Abschlussrennen in Südafrika. Erster also René Arnoux, zweiter Andrea De Cesaris, dritter Riccardo Patrese. Links Andrea De Cesaris, rechts Riccardo Patrese. Die Siegerehrung. Der zweite Sieg für René Arnoux in dieser Saison. Er hat in Montreal schon einmal gesiegt. Da war es an der Zeit. Bei Ferrari glaubte man schon, er könne nicht siegen. Umso stärker der Druck auf ihm. Und jetzt mit seinem zweiten Erfolg natürlich eine Entlastung. Und links und rechts von ihm zwei Piloten, die in dieser Saison vom Pech verfolgt waren. Beide haben bereits mehrfach in Rennen geführt. Links Andrea De Cesaris. Und beide haben zum ersten Mal in diesem Jahr Weltmeisterschaftspunkte erringen können. So viel also vom großen Preis von Deutschland für Formel 1 Rennwagen. Ich bedanke mich bei allen Beteiligten, besonders natürlich bei Hans Duck und bei Klaus Ludwig. Und ich darf mich aus Hockenheim verabschieden.